it helps you, or it's helped me anyway. When I'm talking, instead of like trying to speed myself up, it actually helps me slow down to think a little bit more because I have to breathe through my nose instead of like constantly. So like my breath out is me talking, and then my breath in is me through my nose. So instead of like constantly talking and then taking a breath in as I'm talking through my mouth, I take that breath through my nose. So then it's like I'm consciously teaching myself to actually breathe through my nose instead of continuously having my mouth open. Like I said, like you're sitting there like a Venus flytrap just waiting to catch flies, like and it's so hard to do. But when you actually get used to the thought of breathing through your nose, like when you're talking, you're breathing out. And then when you're breathing in, like you probably just saw just then, it's like it's all through my nose now. And it's not coming in through my mouth. And it's a way for me to actually like, slow myself down and think about what I'm about to say, because sometimes it's like filterless. It just comes straight out. But B, it's like I can actually get reps in of me breathing through my nose instead of constantly breathing through my mouth. And I catch myself so frequently now, just continuously. It's like if I'm talking a lot or too much, I have to think about like, oh, I got to get that breath through my nose again. And it just teaches me. And like I said, you're putting the reps in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I used to use it when I was training, like when I was doing fitness. Granted, now I wouldn't have been doing as much fitness as I did, but I used to do all of my fitness with my mouth closed. Like all of my running, all of my hit stuff, even on like rest breaks from like small-sided games, I wouldn't let myself open my mouth. And then it was like fitness tests came around, games came around, real practices came around. It was like I had like an extra boost. Like I could kick in the turbo and open my mouth, and it's like, oh, it's getting Score's opening his mouth, like it's getting real now. Like
you're using the big hole now. It's like, oh, you're getting the big hole, getting all the And
it was like tying my boots. Like that's how you knew I was serious.
But he's ready. He's ready to play. Because I'm doing the same thing now. I'm going through the Uncom Muscle Club that Keegs is doing. It's like a whole lot of dense strength that we're doing at the moment. And a lot of that is for me, it's a good reminder about that nasal breathing, like just to try and calm yourself down when shit's getting hard. And again, like I've just said before, it's about the reps that you're putting in. But really enjoying that aspect of the muscle club and the dense strength side of things. But speaking of training and I guess breathing and that as well, how did you find your trip over in Florida? Like, what was the highlight, or what were the highlights? Because I'm assuming that there's probably more than one highlight with everyone out there.
Yeah. My favorite thing, I said this to a couple people, is like, so when I train in my garage in Indianapolis, like, it's not only that, like, it's not even that, like, I'm a big fish in a small pond in terms of, like, people lifting in the ATG style. Like, I'm the only fish in the pond. Like, like there's nobody else here that I can, like, compare myself to. It's like, talk to some of my buddies, they're like, yeah, I squatted 315. It was like your legs were like this. Like, that's not that doesn't count. It's like, what, can you do a Nordic? They're like, huh? So I never get to compare that. And like, sometimes I can look at people on social media and it's like, oh, it's cool to compare like that. But going down and having, like, Marcel had just done the first camp on Wednesday, Thursday, and then I rolled up on Saturday, Sunday, and he, like, not only did he at bare minimum match me on everything, but like pretty clearly blew past me on like most things. So, and then Ben Clairfield, when he wanted to try, like when he decided it was time to work, like either matched me or went past me on a whole bunch of things. When he
decided to do his shoelaces up, he was
when he opened his mouth. Yeah, when he started breathing through his mouth. So it's like going there and being like, oh yeah, so I am not even close to Marcel. Like that's always like one of my favorite things, to be like, yeah, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Because you start to get a little bit high in your own supply when you train by yourself for so long. And then this freak started training again on like Tuesday or something. Like
That's nuts.
three work. Yeah, I know. 3 workouts on Wednesday, 3 workouts on Thursday, Friday off, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then maybe he took Monday off, and then was back doing ridiculous things on like Tuesday. Today was the first day I trained after that. I took the whole week off.
Oh, really?
But,
That fatiguing for you?
I mean, I could have trained on like Thursday, but I had a whole bunch of stuff I needed to get done, so it was like I'll take the whole week off and recover. So I felt good today, but that, and then it's I like going in person because like it's also like I'm trapped in a room with Ben and Marcel, so like they can't not listen to my questions and answer them. Like you're like,
no, I'll speak with you afterwards. Don't worry about it now.
Yeah, like the call can't end. Like it
lost internet connection.
Yeah, it's like you can't just like wait to respond to a message. Like I'm right there, and it's also like when I ask really specific things, it's like some of these things like aren't great to talk about on like a weekly coaching call or like talk about in like the post chat or something with everybody, because it's like, what do you do about this and that, like very specific things. So that's like I like going there and like drilling down on all the little questions I have like that because I text Ben all the time about stuff, but I don't want to like send him 30 questions a day. That would be a little bit. It'd be a little bit too much. Let me send him a couple, but yeah, and it's so much fun going and training with everybody. Like when you went to the farm gym, it's similar like that, but it's like less focused on like team building and just doing things that suck, and more of like really elite, like top training method. Not that everybody was there. It was like really, really athletic. Like a lot of people were still fairly early in their ATG journey. But it didn't matter. Like everybody could do all the workouts, just whatever level you were at, and then going through it and everybody just being shot and then going to dinner and hanging out at the beach was like, it's so much fun.
It just looked like good vibes, man. You know, like I remember like the phone call that we had. It was after the first workout, I think on Saturday. You gave me a buzz when you were looking for Ben, and he was.
Oh, that was after the third workout, yeah.
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 That was on Saturday though, I think.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, and like I saw you walking out, like your hair was everywhere. You were just like, oh my god, what is this? But like one thing I remember saying is that is something that what I'm really focusing on building down here is that community and that culture, because it's something that we spoke about with Nevin a little while ago. It doesn't really exist down here, that gym culture. If you go to the gym, you're going by yourself or you're going with a mate. It's not like you're going with a group of people and you're kind of like all focused on achieving particular standards, as an example. So like seeing that and hearing that from you, and obviously seeing it on socials and other people talking about it as well, gives me a good buzz, because it's like I know that that's coming here soon. So like I think it's going to be, I reckon it's first couple of months of next year. They're thinking, or maybe mid-year, they're thinking of coming out. I don't know who's coming, but as soon as I find out who it is and when they're coming, and it's like it's a training camp or it's, I don't know if they're doing any more in-person level 2 stuff. That's like I'm there, you know. So yeah. It's exciting.
There's Europe rumors that I've heard. I don't know what all I can say about it, but that would be like, that's cool, because maybe you go for like 5 days. It's farther for you than it is for me, but it's still pretty far from me.
It takes me a day and a half to get to Europe.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're just so far from everything. It's so inconvenient. But like, that would be a cool thing to go for. Like, you go for like 2 days on one end, and then you train really hard for 2 days, and then you're there for another day and you leave. Like that's kind of like my kind of vacation. It'd be cool if it was like in like the Bahamas or something. Like have like 2, but I mean, Europe is still super like a cool place. So I think if it ends up in Europe, I think I'm going to have to book a trip, because that would be, it's just so much fun to go with everybody and just like get in on it, hit all the lifts.
You can just see that the vibe is like everyone wants the best for everyone. Everyone wants to be able to see you hold that tempo or lift that weight or be able to achieve that particular exercise or standard or whatever it is. You can see that, and you can actually get that feel of it as well just from looking at the videos and the way that people talk. Like, again, when you jumped on that phone call, you were buzzing, but you were also buzzed. You were fried. You were fried big time.
Yeah, really good mood, but like dead tired. And it's like it's cool because people get really excited for every lift. Like when you hit a top weight, like whether it's somebody like squatting like 80 kilos for the first time, like they're just as buzzed when somebody hits 140 kilos. And it's not like that could be like nobody gets excited either way, but it's like everybody gets really excited both times. So which is cool. So it's not like
the expectation of like you're expected to like, or comparison, you know, like you're comparing yourself to 80 to 140 kilos. Like that's 80 is fantastic for you and 140 is fantastic for you. Like instead of comparing to someone else, you're comparing to yourself basically.
Yeah. It's not like you suck because you can only do 4 chin-ups. Like, it's like, that's the first time you've ever done 5. Like, awesome, brother. Like, we got to get you to 12, but like, that's what will celebrate the win. Like, it's, but then it's also like, when I hit 140 on the pause squats, and I watched Marcel do it, and I was like, yeah, mine will.
Tell us about the sessions. Like, what did the sessions involve? Obviously, each session was different over the weekend. But what was like? Okay, well, let's go three things. So, like, what was your favorite part of the session? What did you notice that you needed to really sort of work on in regards to yourself, not in comparing to Marcel or anyone else? And then, what was the one thing that you just would like to see change for next time?
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm at liberty to like give away all the sessions. Like, I don't think I can do that. As much as I would like to talk about all of them individually. My favorite, I mean, squatting heavy is always my favorite thing. So like I think the second workout we did was like work up to a 2-rep max on like a 4-4XO back squat. So 4 down, 4 at the bottom, pop up. That's where I hit 140. That's always gonna be my favorite. Like that's super fun. And then there were some cool things for time and like max reps or whatever. But the thing I noticed the most I know I still need to do the posterior chain thing. My C to good morning is still bad. My RDL is still low, but my grip strength, like holy cow! So I don't know if you've ever used these dumbbells before, but the Watson Fat Grip rotating calibrated dumbbells.
Nah.
So the grip is like this big, like your hands like bare. I don't know if my hands even fit around the actual grip of the dumbbell.
You saying like the grip wise, you couldn't? There was like a gap between.
Yeah, like it was like I'm trying to see if there's anything in here that's like comparable. I don't think there is, but like the grip was so much. Like I could look up the number, but like they're fat dumbbells. So you know, like fat grips, like that you just put on a block. It's like that's how they just all are. They're all that fat.
They're all just fat.
They're super fat, and they spin. So like the handle can stay put, but the rest of the dumbbell will spin.
Oh, okay.
Not that affects the grip of it, but like it's just kind of a cool thing.
So the weight spins while the handle stays the same. So the weight is spinning back and forth, like depending on which way you're going.
You could you could hold the handle and you could just spin the weight and both sides will spin, or you could hold the weights and spin the handle, whatever. But man, I was doing split squats and like I wasn't finishing my sets because I couldn't hold it anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like Ben came up, he's like, all right, you're getting some weight going now. And I was like, I did too, and I had to put him down. Like I couldn't I really could not. Yeah, I really could not hold them, and it wasn't like I was doing something crazy. Like 35 kilo dumbbells. And everything's there in kilos.
Yeah.
Which isn't like insignificant weight, but like I should be able to hold. Like I've held 80-pound dumbbells for much longer than that. So like my grip is really, so every time I go down to Florida, there's something new. I'm like, I gotta get that. First time it was the Nordic bench. Now it's a $35,000 set of dumbbells.
Why not?
Which is way harder to get.
Chuck it in the garage. Just chuck it in the garage. Maybe Watson might hit you up with a 50% off deal or something like that.
They would need to hit me with like a 90% off deal. Like
you don't know till you know, man.
I know that set of dumbbells is worth like 15 times what I have in the garage. Maybe I don't know exactly. You can look how much they cost, but like it's absurd.
It would be pretty expensive. Watson. So let's have a quick look. I was just listening to Under the Bar podcast with Charles Poliquin was talking about how he got his whole gym at his house, and Watson gave him everything, like just set him up with the whole new setup. It was like, wow.
So you want to hear something really cool about that? So those dumbbells that were in Charles's house are the dumbbells that Ben Clairfield has. Oh,
no way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm like 98% sure. Like I know the dumbbells that Ben has used to be Charles's.
All right, I got the prices up. So if you want 10 to so you want 17 pairs, 10 kilos,
I think
50 kilos. Or how many pairs would he have?
It was, I don't know. I think it's like 5 to 50, and then the first 5 to 20 were in 1 pound increments, 1 kilo increments.
All right. Well, let's just make it easy. If we go there and go to we'll just do 19 pairs, 5 to 50, 50 mil revolving. So the standard is 35 mil.
They're the 50 milliliter revolving millimeter.
Let's chuck a rack in there as well. Woo! So we're looking at almost 13,000 pounds.
Yeah, and then you're missing like half of the set with that too. With the first, I don't know, 10 pairs or something go up by 1 kilo instead of 2.5.
Yeah.
So it's like, but best dumbbells in the world, easily.
I can imagine. For that much money,
for that much they better be. But they're so good. They feel so nice as long as you have like the grip strength to hold them. Yeah,
well, you would hope that you could. I mean, you would probably just have to work up to doing that. But like, that must be, pretty incredible dumbbells if you're paying almost 13,000 pounds for it.
Like it makes it so much easier to hold them with how nicely they're knurled. So like, but it's also so much harder to hold them because they're so fat.
Yeah.
But like, I had the gnarliest forearm pump doing split squats. That's what, dude, in between all the split squat sets, I'm like, oh God, man, like massaging out my forearm. Like not like, that was hard on my quads and my hip flexors are like burning. Like I was like shaking my arms out.
Getting your knee into the forearms, just trying to massage it out.
It was brutal.
What would you change next time you were to go?
Yeah.
What would you like to have been done differently?
I don't know. I think it was really well done. I would have. This is funny because it's not any part of the camp, but I would have gotten a bigger Airbnb than what we got.
better Wi-Fi as well.
Better. Oh my God, dude! The place we stayed in, it was so funny. There was 1 bedroom and there were 4 of us in there.
Oh.
And there was so we had 1 guy on the couch, 1 guy on an air mattress, and then 2 of us in the bed. So
And it's a one. Was it a bedroom, or was it like the kitchen and everything was just all in one
The
room?
bedroom was separate from the rest of the apartment, but the rest of the apartment was just like one room the size of like a normal kitchen.
Yeah.
So like, and dude, they had basically no utensils, silverware, dishes. There was no cutting board. There was no baking sheet. We had to just cut it on the counter, and then clean it up afterwards. There were 4 plates total. There were 4 cups total. Like, it worked out perfectly because there were 4 of us, and then there was like 4 of everything.
Yeah,
but that was it. So you had to do dishes every time you ate.
Yeah, what a nightmare.
So, not that was like the big problem. The problem was like I would have liked to have like a better place to get better sleep in between the days. And
so you were on the couch?
The day before too. I was in the bed. I was one of the people in the bed.
What did you do? Just pull Trump? That you were just like, yeah, that's me. Don't worry, no one else is going in the bed. I'm calling. Or were you there first?
There were 2 of us in the bed.
Yeah, how did you get in bed though?
So Josh was the biggest dude. So because he was the biggest dude, he took the air mattress because it was like you're gonna take up the most space, so you can have the air mattress. One of the dudes got in late. We didn't want him to wake up the rest of us, so we just let him sleep on the couch, so we didn't have to like come into the bedroom and wake everybody up. And then it was the other 2 of us defaulted into the bed together.
Oh, look at that! Just worked out perfectly for you.
It did.
How convenient.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out. It worked out. I didn't go down there to sleep conveniently.
Yeah.
Came down there to work out. So, and it was it's nice because all the workouts were really short. So it was kind of sort of also like a master class on how to program a whole bunch of workouts in one day. So like nothing took more than like 45 minutes or whatever, but like you'd work up to a heavy set on something and then you'd go do another exercise and then 1 or 2 accessories and like then you're done. Then you hang out, drink a coffee, grab a protein shake, some aminos, some more electrolytes. The funny story. First day, we show up. So Jason, one of the guys with us that works at Reach, was down there, and he did the Toronto training camp. So he was kind of like giving us advice. So we woke up, we ate breakfast, walked over. There's a Starbucks. So we went to the Starbucks, grabbed like a nitro cold brew, like heavy with the caffeine. So and chugged that before we even started. So I'm amped. And then we roll up, and Ryan, one of the other guys, is like, "You want some kratom?" I was like, "What? Yeah, sure, why not?" And I took it. I had no idea what it was.
Take this.
Yeah, took that. Took the alpha GPC, the acetylcholine precursor that like locks. Well, it'll help lock you in. Took.
So you're just dosed up to the max already.
Oh, dude, I was just like all of the stimulants, like down in all of everything, and it was like I had no idea what was doing what because it was like this ridiculous cocktail of things like locking in, and then we sat around and talked for 45 minutes. So I think I was just sitting there through the whole meeting like
didn't blink once.
No, probably not. Like I was so locked in for that whole time. Like, I mean, it was a period of like 45 minutes, like less than that. Probably within 20 minutes, I had the cold brew, alpha GPC, kratom, some like electrolytes, aminos, whatever. Oh man, I was like, and then I started I was cramping all over during that first workout. All of that coming in, and then me being super excited as well. Like shoulders just about cramped. Had like a lower back starting, a VMO. Oh man, it was everything. I took so much. Had so much electrolyte powder and so many aminos. Like and so many protein shakes. Probably six to eight of each.
Wow.
Oh,
Your
unbelievable.
brain is just cramping. It's just you're just cramping everywhere.
I think my stomach just like, I can only imagine what my stomach was looking like. So that night, we were figuring out what to do for dinner. We ended up just going to like a Publix, like the grocery store. Came home, 2 rotisserie chickens and a whole bunch of fruit with dinner. Oh, so like, I never thought I could eat 2 full rotisserie chickens. I just about ate 2 full rotisserie chickens and 2 bowls of fruit. And like the crab stuff there, it's like the locals. What a trip.
Next one. When's the next one?
I don't know. I don't think that's been put out yet. I think Ben has like a young, well, he's got a bunch of kids, but a pretty young baby at this point. So I think he's trying not to do a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ben Clarefield and Ben Patrick have young kids, but talk about Ben Clarefield for the most part. So
what are you looking at cost wise for the weekend?
Like grand for the weekend, and then whatever else for the accommodation. So it probably came out closer to like $1,600.
Yeah,
which isn't unreasonable. Worth it for me. And we got partnered up with a supplement brand, so now I can wholesale supplements and do all of that stuff. So sell supplements, can give them away, whatever, order them for myself, wholesale, which is cool. So that's might just pay for itself in the long run with that partnership.
Well, that's what Paul Council talks about, and even just listening to the podcast this morning with Charles and the Under the Bar guys. So like Paul's talking about, if you sell, like you want to do plus $1, so like you're spending X amount on it, you want to make that plus $1 back, because then you've got your investment almost back into it. So if you were to make $1,601 from this course, or from this training camp, it's worth it for you, which I'm sure that you would make that, which is great. And then Charles was talking about the 1 in 25 rule, where it's like, if you pay X amount for it, you want to be making that back over the year. I think it was over the year for your income. So like if you go and do something like this for $1,600 and you times that by 25, if you can make that back in a year, then it's totally worth it for you. If not, then it's just like, because it's all adding to your repertoire, or like it's adding to your ability to be able to learn more, coach better, coach yourself better as well. And kind of like Charles again spoke about getting in the trenches, which I think it's so necessary to do, to be able to actually learn and understand the process of things. You need to be able to do them yourself. If you can't do them yourself, it's going to be much harder to actually be able to teach people that, or teach people what you're trying to teach them if you don't know how it feels. Whereas you've done all this sort of stuff now. You can just go in and go like, this is what it should feel like. I know this is what it should feel like.
Yeah, that's been kind of a shift in the way I thought about things recently, is whether or not something's expensive versus like whether or not could bring that money back to me.
Also value though, like it wouldn't be, because $100 to one person and to another person might be valued differently. It might be like, well, $100 is so expensive, whereas $100, like, far out, that's like so much value in for $100. So yeah, I guess, what do you value?
Yeah. So like an example would be like, if I'm gonna have a video edited for me, like whatever, maybe it costs $100. Like, man, $100 to edit one video, but like, would that one video bring me a customer with a lifetime value over $100? Like, if the answer is yes, like you said with the plus one, like if that video brings me $101 over time, like, yeah, I'd pay that 1,000,000 times. Like, there's no reason not to pay that at that point. You get into taxes, you can probably expense it off, so you don't have to pay that. But still, that's been kind of a shift for me. And like, you think about that long term also in terms of maybe this one video being edited only brings me back like $70, but who knows if getting 100 videos edited and made, what kind of time that would save me and how that would build up in the future. So like there was Hormozy was talking about it one time. He's like, I just look at social media in 5-year increments. As long as we're seeing positive growth, it's like, we'll check it in 5 years. It's like, you're just gonna wait 5 years. It's like how you frame your decisions. So I've been trying to be better about that recently, but also not like just try and throw money at things I don't want to do. So it's kind of a fine line to balance there, but that's what I'm trying to work out, like what's worth it for me to spend money on in terms of buying time back or buying other people's expertise, and what's like just me being lazy.
Yeah. And I guess it's, you don't know till you know either. Like, you need to be able to put the time and do the research and whatever else into it, so then you know whether it's actually going to be worth it or not. You can't just go like you said, and you can throw money at things. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get the results out of it if you aren't actually invested in what you've put your money towards. Like, it's not like it's, here's a lump of cash and then it's a direct transfer of like, you get that skill for that money. It doesn't work that way. Never will work that way until we turn into robots and you kind of just update your hard drive or whatever inside your brain. But like, you need to be able to actually do the things, because that's the reason why people are so good at what they do, because, you know, they pay the money for it, but then they actually do what needs to be done. So then they can transfer those skills and learn those skills, and then it becomes second nature to them. So it's interesting, like with that side of stuff, you kind of feel like you need to take the leap. You don't want to take the leap because you're not sure of how it's going to turn out. But the only way you're going to know how it's going to turn out is if you actually take the leap. So it's like this vicious circle of like, I got to do it, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it, or more like a square. But I want to do it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. Should I do it? I don't know. Is it going to be worth it? I have to pay this much money, and you're just constantly just like trying to figure out the value. Sometimes you talk yourself out of it. Sometimes you talk yourself into it. But I think if you're in that phase of like, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I don't know what it's about. I mean, you start like digging deeper into it, you find out what it's actually about and what you're learning, what you're potentially going to be learning, and then how it's going to be able to transform your coaching career or your life or whatever. You start to do those reps of figuring out like what the hell it's about. It's like you pay the money and then you actually are more invested, rather than going like, here's the direct rewards or what you're going to get out of it. You go, yep, I want that straight away. But then you don't realize the work that's involved in it, and you go, oh, no, it was a waste of money. It was a waste of time. But you were never really invested in the first place.
Yeah. Like, I think even with something like that, if you expand how long you're thinking about things over, like if I'm thinking about hiring somebody to film and edit my videos when I put stuff on social media, so maybe I invest like $5,000 over a period of 3 months, and maybe it doesn't work. It's like, all right, I probably made something back on that. Maybe I only made $2,000 back on it, but like putting $3,000 into something that didn't work, like obviously sucks. Like nobody wants to do that, but like now I know, like over 30 years, like putting that $3,000 in isn't going to make a big difference. Like it versus the possibility that it turns into like hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of $1,000s down the line. It's a gamble worth paying, and then the more you put into it, the more likely it is to pay off. But it helps to have, like in that example, for me, hiring a videographer and an editor now is much easier than it would have been 6 months ago when I didn't really know what was going on. So like I have the ability to do it and film everything and edit it all myself, but is it the best use of my time right now? And that's what I'm kind of wrestling with would it be better to have somebody else do it? And is that going to pay for itself and it'll free me up to do other things that could, now we're talking business, but like to help more people, to do the creative work, to do the things that make the money. Like, which side is heavier?
Yeah. Which side's got more potential for you? Which side's got more value for you? You know, like
Yeah.
what are you working on? Like, so is there a direction that you're heading in? Are you more focused on going on one direction than the other? Or is it kind of like, I'm still not sure where I see myself going in the next 3, 6, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years? Like, do you have any idea of what you want to do?
Yeah, I think I've become pretty clear on a strategy, which is why I'm leaning towards having somebody to do this for me, because I can focus on other things. Like I've made the decision to shift towards footy, to talk more about football and training, strength training like that. See, we talked about it with range a little bit off camera, but making the push towards getting people to understand that you don't have to, with an old Charles reference, be a Teletubby on Valium running around in the Premier League. You can look like a wide receiver in the NFL and still be plenty able to play. There are people that look like that all the time, and there are people that are even bigger than that. So that's where I'm headed now, and I have a kind of got a game plan and a roadmap, and it's execution and where to when to spend money and not to spend money. Yeah. So it's tough, but it's also fun.
Yeah, quote I heard earlier this morning. It's you have to be willing to be like listen and be open to particular people, and especially those who you respect in terms of the knowledge that they have. But like your mind has to be like a working parachute. Like it needs to be open, or it needs to be able to be open. So like if you don't have the ability to be open to certain things and understandings, especially with different training methods, like the amount of research you've done for such a young age, or not necessarily research, but your own training regime, whether it was with ATG or Westside, you did a lot of like cow deep stuff as well, based upon like what you have already experienced. You've got a whole ton of value to offer to people, and it's like you can read as many books as you like. And going back to Charles again, he talks about how like you've got all these people with scientific facts, like, well, there's no study on that. And it's like, well, how many gold medals do you have in A, B, or C? And it's like, none. Okay, so just shut your mouth and I'll do it my way, because I'm clearly getting results and it's clearly working. And it's like, yeah, there's probably a certain amount of like you need to have done the research in that respect of like understanding this particular thing from a scientific point of view. But ultimately, if you try and transfer that to athletes and it doesn't grab, it's like, well, it's not working for these people. And I've tried it with myself, and it doesn't work for me. Maybe it's time to try something different. I like the direction that you're going in as well, because like we've spoken about off camera, and there's a big opportunity for football and ATG, especially seeing as like there's so many things that can be changed with footballers that haven't been changed yet. And it's like, and why wait for the research? Again, like you've got an opportunity now to just try it out and go. And like you said, go in that direction. That's exactly what I'm doing here in Australia, because you've got so many boys, and it's like now we're progressing from that 6-week soccer and strength program together, which I gave them what they want. And then I slid in a little bit of what they needed. And then now it's like, okay, cool. You know what that strength, that small little strength side of things is about. Here's the next level, the next phase. Who's interested? It's like, I loved that stuff. And it's almost like I'm starting to feel that, like you spoke about earlier with the ATG training camp. You've got boys that are pumped to want to come in and want to do the work. It's like, yeah, that's what I've been craving. That's what I've been missing. And it's here now. So let's just make this happen, And then the business side of things takes care of itself through the research and the things that you do. But I'm pumped, because I'm a part of that. Although I'm not lifting, I'm coaching. But it's cool to be able to see the boys are let's do it. Like, let's go. It's no longer just about the running and the soccer or the football and the technical stuff. Now it's about the actual, let's get strong and let's make strong athletes.
Yeah. And the most interesting thing is that the research is there. Like, it's all there for football. Like, it's clear that running long distances doesn't work. It's clear that the stronger you are, the more athletic you become, the faster your acceleration, the faster you can run, the higher you jump, the more resilient you are. There's research that strength training makes you in better shape. There's research that you maintain a VO2 max with only one hit session every 2 weeks. There's research on teams that jump higher do better. There's research that 10-meter sprint times are significantly different between amateurs and professionals, and that's a function of maximal strength. Like, all the research is there. Why people don't use it, whether it's they don't know about it or they don't care about it. I mean, sports scientists are the best sports historians is the old quote.
Yeah.
But if they're historians and then people right now haven't caught up with what the historians are talking about, like, I don't know what that makes you. Illiterate maybe, but it's there. And it's like the interesting thing is that another thing Charles said was, like, the research explains why the champion from 15 years ago, why their training program worked. Like, that just isn't what happens in football, unless I'm entirely unaware of what a lot of teams do behind the scenes. And I'm pretty sure I'm not that detached from what they do behind the scenes in lifting. Like, in 15 years, it'll probably be why it doesn't work here. So they'll be on the wrong side of history in that mark. So that's why I think there's so much room for it. And I think I'm in a cool position, having applied so many things while I was playing. Like, it's one thing to play and then learn about it afterwards. But it's a different thing to learn about it while you're playing and test it around then and learn things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of want to bring and see if I can help some people like that.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at the moment with, like you said, you've been able to experience that while you were playing. Whereas for me, it's like a lot of this came to my vision at, like, pretty much the end of my career. Like, by the time it was too late. So for me, it's like being able to do that on meet is more challenging to be able to implement it from a football perspective. But then it also allows me to become a better coach too, because then it's like, okay, I can't afford, and players can't afford to lose performance. It's a big one, lose performance while they're playing if they're doing strength work. I had a kid the other day come up to me and say, like, no, I don't want to go to the gym too much because, like, I don't want to get too big. And it's like, we're still there. We're still we're still there, and it's such a shift in perspective for a lot of those players, because it's very nuanced. You can just go like, well, you ain't gonna get big, so or you can just not listen to me and just not do it. Like, it's entirely up to you. But from my personal opinion, doing what you're doing or not doing strength work at all is going to impact you significantly, and, like, from a negative standpoint. So you do what you want to do, but if you don't want to get too big, then that's fine. But if you want to get stronger and play better football, well, I know what to do for you. So it's up to you on what you want to do. And then it's kind of like letting them make that decision. But I think there's a big shift happening, and there's a big shift coming in lots of ways. But in terms of football and strength, there's a lot happening and a lot going on. Like, I've seen a lot of my players that I've been working with over the last, well, coming up to the end of the 6 weeks. And sure, it hasn't been your typical just strength only, like you're getting both. And a lot of it has been body weight, predominantly body weight only, in terms of, like, the banded sleds, a couple of banded exercises. Like, we haven't done any, like, not a single banded clam or glute bridge in sight, which for a lot of those players is very refreshing, because you need a certain amount of glute activation. But if you don't focus on lower leg health, if you don't focus on adductor health, which a lot of players, like we've spoken about previously with the artificial turf, a lot of them are experiencing groin pain and hamstring pain. And you can focus on your glutes till the cows come home, but it ain't going to change anything. If you're unable to do adductor bridges or Copenhagen's or get down into, let's just say, for example, like don't have that length in your hamstrings, there is a very, very high possibility that you're going to hurt yourself or injure yourself or not be able to sustain that high intensity for longer periods of time, which then means you're going to get injured. You're not going to be able to play as much. And let's be honest, the only way you're going to get better at your sport is by playing your sport, especially when you're getting older into those later years. Maybe when you're a child, like it's different. You want to be able to have these different things and these different avenues to try different things. But as you get older, you know, if we're talking maybe 22, 23 years old plus, you want to be able to maintain your performance and get better performance. My opinion, I believe that you need to be able to play your sport. If you can't play your sport because you're injured, you ain't going to get better at your sport. So, and you can, like you said, you can do running forever. It ain't going to change nothing. You need to be able to play.
Yeah. It's, what's it called? Work economy? I think it's called work economy. There was some research that becoming stronger, you can, without improving your VO2 max, work for 5 to 15% longer just by getting stronger. So why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Why aren't we doing that? And like,
but
you're doing horrible training methods in the studies too. Like, that's terrible training. Imagine if you do good training.
Yeah. Like
30%?
I had these chats with a couple of the boys. One of the boys said, so like he called me up. He came in halfway through the program because he was having a chat with the senior team coach. The senior team coach pushed him my way. Said, just have a chat with Steph and see what you can get sorted. So I spoke with him about it. And he asked me, like, is there going to be running involved? And I said, the only running you're going to be doing is with the ball because we've incorporated the strength aspect and then the soccer or the footballing aspect as well. So it's like a strength soccer kind of mix, which, like I said, the boys love that strength, that soccer aspect. So I'm going to give them what they want, but I'm also going to sneak in a lot of what they need as well. So it's been a really, really good balance. And he gave the coach a call back after I told him that it's not like you're not doing extended 40, 50, 60, 70 meter runs. You're not doing that at all because it's not a strength and conditioning program. It's a strength and soccer program. So you get the running you're going to be doing is going to be done with the ball. And he gave the coach a call back and said, I don't think it's going to be worth it for me because there's no running involved. And even the coach was like, but hang on a second. Like, it's not like you're not doing anything at all. And the one thing that I said, and this is what I said to a couple of players that have come to me and like, in terms of the running side of things, you can be strong and run. You cannot run if you are not strong. That's as simple as it is. If you have weak ankles, weak calves, weak knees, weak whatever, if you have weakness anywhere, your ability to be able to run, like you've said previously, you can outrun someone because you're running at 70%, whereas they're running at 85, 90% of their capacity. It just makes sense. Be stronger. That's it.
That should be your slogan. Just be stronger. That's it.
I'm going to take that copyright.
All right, I'll let you have that one. Yeah, I mean, it's like running with the ball it's very rarely do you get into a full sprint even. So now I'll bring up, I guess I'm bringing out the research for the footy research. There was a French study on professional players versus amateur players, and they tested a number of things. But the interesting thing was the difference between their 30 meter and their 10 meter sprint times. 30 meters, they were about the same. Professional, amateur, it wasn't a big difference. But the 10 meter sprint time was significantly different between the professionals and the amateurs. The professionals were significantly faster over 10 meters. Again, I glanced over this earlier. It's a function of maximal strength. They're stronger. There's other studies saying that professionals are stronger than amateurs. But like, who cares if you can like outrun somebody for like 90 minutes? But like, I would much rather beat everybody to the ball every time. Like what's going to be more impactful, that you're in the 80th minute and you're like, I am 3% less tired than you are, but like you're 5% slower than they are, so it's still beating you to the ball every time there's a 50-50. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
So I mean, that's what, and it's not that you can do anything and get that kind of result, but like when you're 16, you can pretty much do anything and get that kind of result. Like, it's just getting stronger. And then the older you get, the more you should probably, everything works until it doesn't. You hit 19, 20, and it's like, all right, this isn't working anymore. Now you just look like a bodybuilder, but it's so it baffles me now, and it confused me before, and it baffles me now, the more I understand about it. So that's what I want to do. That's like, I think just getting people faster. That's what my building a soccer program on getting people faster, and that's what who cares if you can jump higher? If you get faster, you'll be able to jump higher. Nobody runs fast but doesn't jump high.
Yeah, true.
Just how it is.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I've been reading the book. I think it's called Football Periodization, and it speaks exactly about what you were just talking about with the difference between amateurs and professionals. And it's got the amount, so the quantity and quality in comparison between amateurs and professionals. The only difference is that in comparison between the two, professionals can just do more good actions over a longer period of time in the same time. Like, that's the only difference. And it's like 0.5 or a second in terms of difference, but over that period of time, they're able to do more actions rather than less actions, and more quality actions rather than less quality actions, or it kind of wanes over time as you get to the 80th, 90th minute or 70th minute, whatever it is. Over time, the actions start becoming further and further apart, and then they become less significant as well, or less in terms of quality. And it's like, it just makes sense that, and this is in our brains, it makes sense. Obviously, we're kind of bashing our head against, well, we are a little bit bashing our heads against the wall. But if you don't have the strength to be able, or the capacity in terms of strength to be able to do more, you're never, ever going to be able to do any more. And you can run as much as you like. Like, you need to have that strength and that base. The bigger that base is, the more that we can climb up that pyramid, or the taller that pyramid is going to be. The smaller that base is, you can put as many blocks as you like on top of it, but pyramid doesn't go out. Like, it ain't going to go out. You're not going to have, because you're not going to be able to do as much top end anaerobically as you are going to be able to do down the base and the bottom end. You need to be able to have that strength. If you don't have that strength, you're not going to be able to back it up and have the quality and the quantity in the same professional light compared to an amateur.
Yeah, I was talking about this earlier today. If you want to run fast, it's it really is pretty simple to run fast. You have to have, granted, this is a little bit oversimplification, but if you want to run fast, you have to have ankles, feet, and knees that are strong enough to transmit all of the force that your hips can produce, and then sprint once a week.
Simple.
That's it. And then get stronger hips and stronger knees and ankles to handle that force, and then sprint once a week, and then do it again. And it's just structural balance. Like, be balanced between your knees, your ankles, your hips, and your knees. And then, okay, maybe I forgot a little bit about the upper body. It's like sprinting is like 15 or 20% upper body. So get strong in dips and get strong in chin-ups, and then do all the other. Then you're gonna run faster. Those four things that take 5. I know, it's like it's so simple, but it's like, granted, I simplified it down. Like, it's a little bit more difficult to get everything correct, but that really is all it is. Like, get stronger, you get stronger, balanced across your body, and then practice. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on deceleration? So, like, practicing deceleration or becoming better at decelerating, in terms of like understanding. So if you think about you can only jump as high as what you can land. So
Yeah.
do you think that that's transferable in terms of like you can only run as fast as you can slow down?
Not quite as much, but yes. But so, I mean,
See, personally, like
yeah,
I think,
I think you do have to practice acceleration a little bit more than you,
yeah,
because I can think of people like really strong people who were able to like get up to like get moving, like
mm,
power lifters, like flying, and then it's like, oh shit, I can't stop.
mm,
So
yeah.
like, and it is a function of maximal strength, but
This is
there's
from
a
a
little bit of a
footballing
skill
perspective
too.
as well. This is from a footballing perspective as well. So maybe not so much for powerlifters and that sort of stuff, but I think from, I mean, if you were um, to be practicing sprinting for the carryover to occur, well, it's still carryover, but for it to be maybe more effective, you would want to do some sort of slowing down. You know, how quickly can you slow down and then change direction again, or sprint back a different way, in terms of being able to apply that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how often you play.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're playing 3 times a week, I don't think you need
Probably
it
not.
quite as much because you're getting stop start. But I think it can help if you're training less to maybe do it once a week, like to get that maximum effort. Like stop, like top speed, stop as fast as you can. Like the best athletes accelerate the fastest is an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch basketball, like the best guys go like maybe it's not the best athletes to accelerate the fastest. The best athletes can go between stop and standstill the quickest, and that goes both directions. The faster you can go from, yeah, the faster you can accelerate, the faster you can decelerate, the better of an athlete you are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then it's all hinging on time. Like you're not spending as much time changing direction or slowing down to then change direction, or like the actions in terms of the actions. The distance between the actions is less, so then you can get more actions in. But then it's also about you're still doing quality actions throughout the game. But you're doing more of them because you're able
That's
to.
all.
Because
Yeah,
you're
that's all change of direction is deceleration and acceleration in a different direction.
yeah, 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 exactly.
That's all it is. I mean, you're going this way and you want to go this way. You have to stop going this way and then start going that way.
Yeah.
Maybe you could conserve a little bit of momentum like that, but like, so like it's still majority maximum strength.
Yeah.
And that's why powerlifters and Olympic weightlifters can jump so high. I don't think people understand this, but like pound for pound, Olympic weightlifters and powerlifters jump really high. Like, Steve, I have the West Side Book of Methods right here, actually. Let's see if I can find something really fast. But, let's see. Jumping, page 189. This is funny because I remember reading this the other day. At Westside, it's common to see Chester Stafford jump on a 35-inch box with a pair of 70-pound dumbbells at a body weight of 290. This is pounds. Andre Henry at 460 jump on a 20-inch box wearing a 160-pound vest. Phil Harrington, the world record in the squat at 900-pound squat at a body weight of 181 pounds, jump on a 50-inch box. And throwers who do kneeling jumps with 255 pounds on their back.
So that first guy was 290 pounds and had 70 pounds in each hand and jumped on a 35-inch box. So that's 390, 430. So if he's moving 430 pounds, 35 inches into the air.
Yeah.
And landing.
On the box, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, he's jumping up onto the box. That's insane.
I think when people are like, oh, but powerlifters aren't very athletic, like, fuck you, man. Yes, they are. Like, Like, if you could imagine, like, that dude was like 400 pounds. Like, you moving side to side at 75 pounds, being 6 foot tall, like, it's not the same thing as him moving side to side at 400 pounds. If he were to suddenly drop 200 pounds, he'd be kicking your ass. Like, you would have no shot.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a disconnect there that people, bodybuilders, different story. But, like, powerlifters who train for that kind of speed and explosiveness, granted in the squat or the deadlift, without ever practicing any sort of quick movements besides jumping, athletes.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree.
The kneeling, I don't know if you caught this one at the end. This was, and then we've been going for an hour, so probably wrap it up after this.
Yeah.
A kneeling jump with 255 pounds on your back as a thrower.
So that is starting from your knees and getting to
jumping onto your feet.
Yeah.
With 110 kilos on your back. Unreal. Some of the strength, like, those numbers don't even make sense in my head.
And you weigh, what's your weight?
I'm like 185 pounds.
That's literally how you on the back.
I'm like 83 kilos.
Yeah. So he literally had you on his back and jumped up.
Yeah, and I'm holding a 20-kilo plate, like, on his back.
Yeah.
And then he jumped off the ground, landed on his feet. There's
ridiculous.
That's an old Eastern European thing. The kneeling, jump, squat, clean, split snatch. Yeah. All right. Well, we've been babbling on for an hour here. So where can people connect with you? Watch you do the teaching strength program?
We're doing Instagram
Muscle Club. Yeah.
At Coach Carly. I've been putting up quite a bit over the last when's it been 2 weeks. It's been really, really enjoyable doing the Muscle Club with Keegs and the Uncom crew. There's about 50 something of us at the moment that are dialed in and joined in. There's a good community there. So if you're keen and wanting to get involved, just go follow myself at Coach Carly with the 3 I's on Instagram, and I can point you in the right direction. Or you can go and follow Uncommon Success on Instagram as well, and they've got everything on their own thing, on their own page. Sorry, so you can even go there too. How about yourself, Matt?
Yeah, Score Performance, SKAAR Performance, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, wherever. You can soccer programs, soccer content, football programs, football content coming soon. As soon as I finish filming all the form videos.
Yeah.
So
I might even jump in on that one as well, just to have a little.
I'll get you an early copy, and we can get your feedback on it. And
that'd be great.
I'll get you the early release.
Nice.
And we can go from there. All right.
Epic.
Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll be back next week with probably a guest. Thanks everybody.
See you guys.